What is up, gang? Dude, it's Jeremy. Aux Hog. So this is episode 1 of a podcast. It's going to be a new podcast that I want to do. We're going to talk about Mac Miller a lot, but I want to talk about the show first. This is episode 1. I want you to know what's going on. I've wanted to do this show for a long time. I thought about, there was a part of me that wanted to do it as an ebook just because I've never done an ebook. But the main idea here is all right, look, we all know somebody who, you're in the car, you're listening to some music, whatever, and you got an aux cord, and they're like, yo, give me that aux cord. I got something you have to listen to. And they take it and they play it. It might be good, it might be bad. But the thing is, it's kind of, in a sense, it's kind of a dick move and it's kind of weird. And I've done it before, so I can't completely say, you're a terrible person if you do it. I don't think you are. But, I think it's funny. I think the whole idea is funny is because anytime there's an aux cord present, somebody has to be like, hey, give me that aux cord. Everybody wants to be a DJ. So I was I want to do this thing where I want to talk about music a lot, which is basically being the ultimate aux hog. But I don't just want to talk about music. You know what I mean? Everybody out there is talking about music. There's thousands of music podcasts. I want to talk about connections within music. So I've got a lot of songs that are on another level with me because I have attached some type of value or feeling or experience to that song. So that's what I want to talk about. Well, that's the whole show. And I want you guys to read... And I want you guys to join in on the fun too. I want to share the aux cord. So write in, dude, it's Jeremy at yahoo.com. It's with zeros, not O's, because I am difficult. So D00DITS JEREMY at yahoo.com. Yes, I have a Yahoo email. I'm fighting the fight against Google. Send me an email with a title, an artist, and just whatever I'll write up. Send me a DM on Twitter, Instagram, whatever. However you can get at me, just reach out and send me a song to listen to and how it affected you or what it means to you, I guess. And I'll give you an example here in just a sec when I really start the show. But just as an intro to this first episode, like I said, I want to talk about Mac Miller, who passed away this past Friday. And I think there's a part of me that wanted to do this video about fan culture and talk about fan culture because I have such a problem with how people, treat their idols nowadays, and especially with rap and hip hop because it's so prevalent more than it has been in a really long time. And I thought about this a lot, really, honestly, ever since XXXTentacion's death, because he had this almost cult following. Not cult, but literally a cult is what it seemed like that was following this guy. And people who are just no matter what X does, whether he beat that girl or not, whatever, I'm with him 100%. And I'm hold on a sec. I get I like a lot of people's music and I like their personality. I think they have a lot of good energy, and I think before X's death he did have a lot of energy. But there's a lot of things that I can't. That are well, no, that doesn't align with my values as a person. So I can't just be ride or die with that person just because. And basically I just did the whole video that I planned on doing in the last 30 seconds. But with Mac Miller, he more than any other artist, I've just really felt his music. And so with celebrities and celebrity deaths, it's so weird how people react. You know what I mean? People who didn't, Mac Miller didn't know me. He doesn't even know I existed on this planet. Most celebrities don't know the majority of people who are grieving their death. And so it's such an odd thing to me. But just, I don't know. I've just had this very weird feeling, I guess, since Mac's death. Just because, like I said, there's just a lot of his music that I've really felt. And that's what I'm going through today is those songs. So I've been going on for 4.5 minutes just on that. So I want to get into the show, all right? So I've got a few songs, and then I'll probably just, at the end, I'll probably just talk about Mac Miller in general, because there's a lot of songs where there might be a line or two, but not the whole song. So the first one that I want to talk about is Aquarium, which came off of the 2013 mixtape Watching Movies, which is phenomenal start to finish. I picked this song specifically because it has the most meaning to me. It's basically the whole song, to summarize it, is this young guy, Mac Miller at what I guess he would have been 20, if that was 4 or 5 years ago, it would have been 22, 23. And Mac Miller and I are the same age, so just like questioning life and just like what it all means and what his goals are, what they should be, and just trying to figure it all out. And so, like I said, him and I are the same age, and I was kind of in the same state of mind. Like, what do I really want from life, and how do I get there? You know what I mean? And so it's this very like tranquil, relaxing beat that asks all these questions, and it's like, what comes after death? What's the ultimate goal until then? Is it to make money? Is it to get famous? Or what is the most important line to me in this song right here? Curiosities that I have about life and death. Most of us will never know. We just like the quest. And I think that that's so important. I've held that line very near and dear to me since I first heard it. We just like the quest. I think that's something that's so important to apply to your life. Like, you know, whatever your goal is, whether it's your job, it's to your family, to make money. Like, what's the point if you're not enjoying the ride? You know what I mean? And then, of course, I'm just watching this interview that Mac Miller did recently, and they're talking to John Mayer. He's talking about how John Mayer, like, conversation will go from A to XYZ and like that. And Max says, like, take me on the journey. I'm here for the journey. And I just think that's such a, like, almost necessary philosophy. You know what I mean? Like, to enjoy the journey. And I think nowadays, I maybe I just see it more as I'm getting older, but you see people who are so like objective about everything. You know what I mean? Like, here's list item A, B, and C. And we do those things. And the enjoyment is that I did those things. And it's a like 1 second of gratification where I'm like, check. Like that's the satisfaction that I get is from checking those boxes. And I think that's so messed up. I think that, you know, whatever goals you may have, like, you got to enjoy the process. You know what I mean? What's the point of the process if you're not enjoying the process? And then I think about it a lot. Like, I'm going to get selfish here for a second and talk about me and my YouTube channel, because here I am at 26. I've got this wonderful family. I've got a great career, and I'm doing these other things. I've got these couple podcasts. This will be my third podcast, my YouTube channel. And those things aren't like, they don't have a whole bunch of traction. They don't have really any success. They're not getting me any money or anything like that. But I'm just enjoying the process. Like, I'm just really enjoying the editing and shooting this stuff and all of that, like, as a side project. Like, I enjoy everything with my family, and I enjoy most things with my career. Everybody has those days. But all of those things, like, and sometimes, like, it's not like I wake up every day and I think that. I don't wake up and I'm like, yes, I love everything that's going on in my life. Like, some days I wake up and I'm like, damn, dude, I've been doing YouTube for 3 years and I don't have shit to show for it. But it's almost like I just have to take that step back every now and then and be like, all this stuff is side hustle stuff. Like, just have fun with it. You know what I mean? Like, the family stuff, like, it's literally impossible for me to not enjoy the journey of that. And with work, I would put work and the whole YouTube thing on the same level, where like I get very frustrated with those things. But like, overall, when I take a step back, I'm like, yes, I am very happy with how things are going. And I just think that's super important, because it comes down to like all this thing, and this song kind of gets into it. And I think with the passing of Mac Miller, his overdose, all this, it goes to show, like, you have no idea when your time's gonna come, right? So why are you worried about this like surface level shit, you know? Like, and I guess like this, maybe like your values, whatever your values are, it's not the same person to person. So I get that. So like, surface level stuff for me is not surface level stuff for someone else. And I get that. And like, I guess I should probably slow my roll a sec, because, you know, for some people it is like, you know, they don't have any reason to like have a family, but what they want is to, you know, be like this conqueror and have a massive bank account. And like, and I get that. So I need to calm down a little bit, but you know, it's just like, just enjoy the journey. That's, you know what I mean? Like, And if you're not, if you can't look at the big picture and see like A and B and that you're enjoying the space in between, then I think that's where you have to reevaluate what you're doing and what your values are and shift that energy however you need to so that you can enjoy the journey. You know what I mean? And make everything as positive as you can overall. That's what I got from the song. I hope that was the same idea. Now I looked on Genius Lyrics. Max, like we were on the same page on that one. And then I want to talk about his newest album, Self Care. And there's a lot of songs that I would love to pick from the new album, but I went with Self Care first. And I don't know if I want to do all the episodes like themed. I just know this first one is going to be because I've been listening to nothing but Mac since last Friday, and even before that, I've been listening to this new album since August 3rd. I love it so much. But so Self Care came off of Mac's latest release, Swimming. And like the title states, it's basically all about like treating yourself. You know what I mean? And like the way I interpret it is very similar to the last song, where you're out there and you're doing whatever for whatever reason, for whomever. But what are you doing for you? You know what I mean? I'll give you an example. Like, so I have a wife and a daughter, and they're my whole life. And all day I go around and I'm thinking about like what I can do for them, or is the stuff that I'm doing beneficial to them? And I'm talking about like work around the house, work around, like that stuff. But I'm here right now. I'm doing this podcast, and that's for me. That's like because I have all these things that I want to talk about and I want to share, and this is the place for me to do that. And I spent a lot of time not doing that. You know what I mean? Like before I started the YouTube channel, I wanted to do all that stuff. Like I wanted to talk about gaming. I wanted to do videos, and even if I wanted to be an entertainer. And I use that term loosely because I don't know that anybody's being entertained by any of this stuff, but I am, right? Like it's like, I just looked and I think I'm at like 470 videos, or no, wait, it's more than that. It's closer to 600 videos on YouTube. And I don't know how many people have really watched those and been like, wow, that was satisfying. But I have been like, I've been satisfied. I've been frustrated during some of the process, but when it's all said and done, I've enjoyed it. And I think that's super important because there was this almost like whole, like I look back and I have some videos, I have like some files saved on my computer, stuff that I like tried to do, back in like 2010, 2011, when I wanted to do what I'm doing now. But I never like just really pulled the trigger and really did it. You know what I mean? Like I was just kind of like, but I was just making excuses. And then I decided to just do it, whether anybody's watching or not. I'm just doing it because that's like, for me, I just like to do it. Self-care. I'm treating me right. We're gonna be all right. So do something for yourself, and with that, here's my other thing with that though. This is my personal advice. Do something for yourself, but do something so that someone you care about can do something for themselves. You know what I mean? Like do something for your significant other so that they can go do something for themselves. Because I do think that sometimes it really is difficult for people to like set aside time and be like, all right, this is time for me. You know what I mean? I think it can be tough to do that. And if you can find time for yourself, that's great. But sometimes people can't. They're just not able to figure out how they can manage that. But if you can help someone find that time, that's incredible. Especially like if you know how it feels and you know how much of a difference that it can make in your like just everything. You know what I mean? Like doing this right now, I feel so good. And when I go for a while and I don't do videos, I get so down about doing videos. So it's like you just gotta treat yourself every now and then and just take care of yourself. And I just got into like a long thoughts about Mac because I don't know. you know, I'm sure he did treat himself right, but I'm like, I don't know in what way. I'm going to pick one more song, and then let's talk about Mac and addiction, and that'll be something that I'll cut out for the YouTube channel, but I can't not talk about it while I'm in the same like headspace that I am right now, you know? So I want to talk about Dang, which was one of the singles from Divine Feminine. And I really, really love this album. I don't know what the general... Actually, I'm looking at the page right now. It looks like the general consensus was like good to moderately good. But I really, really love this album. And I saw a interview with Mac Miller where he was saying that Divine Feminine, like creating that album while he was making it, was like the clearest his head has been or had been in the last 10 years. And I just watched this recently, and I think like the assumption was that he was also saying the same thing about swimming. But that really made me happy because I, as someone who's like I was a fan of Mac Miller, but it mostly started for me in 2013 with watching movies with the sound off. I just really vibed with that album, and then Divine Feminine came out. Well, okay, so obviously then his other mixtape that I can't think of the name of came in between in 2015, and that was really good. But Divine Feminine came out, and that was like next level for me. And then swimming, I was just anticipating swimming since it was first announced, and it finally came out. But Dang was like this very funky, like just like groovy. I can't even believe it. I take that back. I didn't say groovy. It's just this just like funky sound to it. And like lyrically, I can't say that I can draw from it, but it was just like, I remember when this came out because it made me feel okay about liking like just like I said, like funky music. Because I think a lot of times, like when you say like hip hop and you say like this or that or the other thing, like you don't jump to maybe some of the subgenres or whatever, you know what I mean? Where this album was labeled as like this jazz hip hop, and it was like a lot of songs, and it's like Stay, Dang, even Cinderella, like they have a very different feel than a lot of your hip hop albums. On God Is Fair, Sexy, Nasty, there's like over 2 minutes of just an old woman talking about her relationship with her husband, but I loved it, and I loved that it was on the album. So Dang gets really popular, and I was like, I just like really feel this music. You know what I mean? It just has this like very just funkin' groove to it. And I can't like I'm gonna pull up the page because I cannot think of how to describe this song without using groovy, and I'm gonna hit myself and hate myself if I say groovy. It just like, you just like feel it, you know what I mean? Like you just feel it. Dope, honest, these are not the words I'm looking for. Jazzy mid-tempo beat, that, let's go with that. Jazzy mid-tempo beat from Palmo, nice. Anyways, when this album came around, I was like, I really like this type of hip hop. I've never felt this way before. And then I fell in love with the album as a whole because it has a very, you know, start to finish, Divine Feminine is it's a complete album, you know what I mean? I feel like there's a difference between mixtapes, singles, Lucy's, and albums, and Divine Feminine was an album. So in this case, I'm just picking that one track, but congratulations. I love that, the use of his piano, which Mac Miller is so crazy talented piano that I love that that's on there. Dang, Stay was another favorite. Again, like lyrically I can't get on the same level, but it's just like I just like felt it, you know what I mean? I love that jazzy, like that smooth with a hip hop beat. Cinderella, Soulmate, my favorite part, and God Is Fair, Sexy, Nasty, which was like a perfect ending to that album. I wanted to pick one from the last 3 albums of Max because those are the ones that I can truly say that I've truly spent a lot of time listening to, and they really helped me out, like learning things about myself, learning things about life in general, I guess, and learning things about how other people deal with life. And I think that that's probably this. Now I can kick off what I wanted to talk about at the end. In the future, I want to add in your songs, and I want to pass the aux cord to all of y'all and read your mail, whatever songs that you are feeling and how you felt them or how they affected you. But what I want to talk about today is addiction and Mac Miller's struggle with addiction that ultimately led to his overdose, because it breaks my heart, and it's something I've never had experience with, you know, obviously with myself or with anyone that I know or care about. But it's extremely weird, surreal that I was watching this documentary on Haggard last night. Haggard is a movie made by Bam Margera and the CKY crew. For anyone that's not familiar, it stars Ryan Dunn, Brandon DiCamillo, Rick Yon, Bam is in it, Brandon Novak. And Brandon Novak, who has really come out in the last few months, at least that I've seen, like came out of nowhere to me at least, with this amazing book and story of bouncing back from addiction. So I was watching the documentary and watching Chris Rabb has a podcast where he was talking with Brandon, and there's a scene at the end of the documentary. It's like the last 5 to 10 minutes of the documentary, and it's where like Brandon's smacked out of his mind all the time on heroin, and people are trying to help him in some way or whatever. You know, they're trying to get him to Bam's place, stay at Bam's place, get clean, whatever. And I know I'm going off on a tangent here. So there's a scene at the end where Ryan catches him. He was doing something he doesn't know, but he knows it's, you know, he's doing drugs in the woods. And Ryan is like so incredibly frustrated. He's yelling at him. He pushes Brandon against a wall. And it just goes to show how much he cared about his friend and his friend hurting himself. And I think that, like, you know, Mac Miller dying from an overdose, it sucks. Like, it sucks so bad that he wasn't able to get the help that I need, especially like with the last two albums. You know, I got the appearance and the impression that he was bouncing back and that wasn't going to be an issue. Then we had he had a DUI in May, and he was just talking about this in this other interview that I was watching. I'll try and link this stuff all below, where he was saying obviously people are coming out and they want to be like, are you okay? Are you okay? And he said it's easy to be like, yeah, I'm all right. Yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay. Because your first reaction is to make others feel better about your issue, or potential issues, I guess. But it's more difficult to actually fix that issue within yourself. And I think it's because it is a disease. You know what I mean? Addiction to whatever, A, B, or C, it's a disease, and it comes with you have a disease-riddled mind that tricks you into different things. Everybody's got a demon, right? And Mac Miller had a lot of demons, and he openly talked about them. And I'm so glad that he openly talked about them, because it would unlock all kinds of things in me. You know, I have demons. They're different, but I have them, and I'm trying to fight those demons every day too. So it sucks, because with drugs or alcohol or anything, those are the ones that kill people. Those are the diseases that get people hurt and killed. And it's almost like this slow form of suicide. You know what I mean? Like, there's no doubt in Mac's mind at any point in time that he was not hurting himself and ultimately hurting others. But it's, again, you have a disease-riddled mind and demons that trick you into doing the things that are hurting yourself. So, and you know, another thing that really bugs me is seeing people lash out at like Ariana Grande, or anybody. I don't think that anybody can be held responsible for Mac's death, not even himself, because like I just said, it's a very real disease. And I think even with people surrounding you that care about you, like, I'm sure there were people who were checking in. I'm sure there were people asking the hard questions. Like, I don't know anyone that was that close to Mac Miller. You know what I mean? I don't know like the relationships that he had with different people, but there's no doubt in my mind there were people who cared about him enough that they were challenging what he was doing and what he was thinking. But sometimes that's not enough. I also think fans, we as fans are people who, if there is anyone to be like, you need to change your ways, it's fans. And this kind of goes back to what I started talking about with fan culture. It's like Mac Miller started and he was glamorizing drugs and alcohol and things and partying and like pretty much every rapper and hip hop artist does nowadays, which is, that's a whole other thing. But like when you glamorize that and your fans, like, they latch onto that and then they expect that. And so now it's 2018, Mac Miller's grown past that. He's making like, and I don't want to offend anybody who's saying this, but he's making real music now, like very honest, very real music. But there is still a crowd that is like, yo, Mac, let's talk about drugs though. You know what I mean? Like, yo, Mac, how smacked are you right now? And I think there's a part of him that probably couldn't give it up because of that. You know what I mean? Because there was a part of like Mac that was expected that shouldn't have been expected of him. Truth be told, I'm not going to be able to finish this discussion on my own. You know, it's just too much, especially, and it's too fresh for me to wrap my brain around all of it and put it into one coherent video. It would have to be broken up. So I want to reach out. Anybody that wants to chat, anybody that wants to finish this conversation, I invite you to at Dude It's Jeremy on Twitter, at Dude It's Jeremy on everywhere. All right, Instagram, all that stuff. And dudesjeremy at yahoo.com. Send me your musical connections. You know what I mean? I got a huge list of them. Like I said, I started writing this as an ebook, and I really had a lot of fun doing this just in the last 20 minutes or so. The other episodes won't be as heavy, I don't think. I don't anticipate. And I don't even know that they'll be themed. I guess it depends on what type of feedback and mail that I get. But I just really had a lot of fun talking about musical connections to music, you know, and mine aren't always going to align with the artist and what they intended. And I think that in turn, that's kind of like the beauty of music, is that it can mean different things to different people. And that's why, even though I want to talk about my experiences, I want to hear experiences too, you know? So thank you for listening. If you're here right now, I really thank you. This is episode 1. And I think finishing episode 1 with all my past projects, it's been super important because it's like, all right, am I motivated to do a second one now, or did that just kill my motivation? And that definitely, I feel very motivated to do more lighter episodes, more fun episodes, and go from there. So thank you for listening. We'll see you in the next one. I don't know if we're going to do video all the time, but we did video today, and I'm going to try and break up bits for the YouTubes. We'll see you in the next one, dudes. Thanks for watching.